So Google's ChromeOS Flex is now available for many old PCs and Macs. Some certifications go for computers that are even like 10 years old and stuff like that, but you can even install it on computers that are even older than that. And, it should run fine. It's a pretty light Linux-based OS, which, is super useful because you might have a computer that's kind of old, kind of slow, and you pop a lighter OS on it, and it can, get a little bit faster, get a little bit more responsive, and boom, your computer is not going to the scrapyard anymore. It's not going to be e-waste, which is pretty cool. In fact, it's pretty easy to switch from Windows to this OS, although, obviously it is, because, all you have to do to install an OS is you need a USB. You create a bootable USB drive that you plug into your PC, install the OS, and boom. There you go. So there's a story in here how a Scandinavian hotel chain switched to, let me see, there we go. Switched to the Chrome OS from Windows in less than 48 hours, I think. Yeah. Now, this doesn't really mean anything. The thing is, most businesses at this point are locked into an OS like Windows, because most businesses have been around for a little while and they probably have custom-made apps for their specific company. And these apps usually, run on Windows. They won't run on anything else, So if all you need is a browser, essentially, because, you can have Microsoft Office online and various things, then this is great. You should probably switch to Chrome OS. It's also a little bit safer than Windows just because of its whole nature. It's more locked down. But, many businesses just can't do that. But OSs like this, Linux-based Chrome OS, these are sort of going to be the saving grace when Windows 10 finally stops getting updates. I believe it's 2025. And unfortunately, Windows 11 has very strict hardware requirements. So for instance, that computer over there, that is a 4th gen i7 4770K, 4 cores, 8th thread. I believe I have it overclocked to 4.3 gigahertz, something like that. So that thing is like way too old for Windows 11. Even my laptop that's running a 7th gen Intel i7 CPU, even that is too old, and that updated to Windows 11 on its own, and I had to reset everything back to Windows 10 because it was completely broken. But all of these computers, they're still good computers, are just gonna become e-waste, unless people switch to a new OS like this, for example, because the thing is, for a heavy user like me, I have 3 monitors in front of me. I do heavy multitasking, stuff like that. It's pretty nice to have a good computer. But if you're just a normal person that's, looking at spreadsheets, writing Word documents, I don't know, making presentations, doing some light browsing, management, stuff like that, a computer like that is totally fine. You just have a nice quality SSD in there. You don't have any bloatware on your Windows install. That is pretty much as fast as you sort of need it to be. Putting all of those devices into scrapyards, would be pretty sad. But, as a business, you need an OS that still is getting updates, because the thing is, if you're not getting security patches and you get a virus on a computer, on a network, you can potentially lose all the access to your files or whatever in your business, and you just can't conduct business anymore, and you go out of business. So, this might be a simple Linux-based OS that could be the saving grace in the future. It's pretty unfortunate what exactly Microsoft is doing with the discontinuation of Windows 10. But they're probably gonna do something about, like, you can purchase this and you're gonna continue getting security patches for your business or something. Who knows? Windows XP went on like that for a very long time, but having something like this as an alternative is definitely very nice to have. So, if you have an old computer, I might try this on my 2012 MacBook Air because, the Mac OS that's installed on that just runs like a snail at this point. Because it only has 4 gigs of RAM. That is the big issue. You know, the dual core i5, that's still sort of fine, but the 4 gigs of RAM really struggles. So ChromeOS is something, you know, pretty perfect for something, for a computer like that. So I might give it a try. And if you have any old computers that are on the verge of being like almost unusable because of how slow they are, yeah, maybe buying a cheap $20 120 gig SSD from ChromeOS on it, you know, might just save it. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, that's it.